Episode 3, Drowning Horses, School, Breakfast, and Lunch. In order to understand the concept of drowning horses, you may want to watch my intro video. The premise is that you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. The water in the scenario is systems of policies, practices, and procedures. The horses are students and sometimes staff. This episode, I want to ask a question. What do kids in your community say about school food? Decision makers in high poverty urban districts are often responding to what students need, but they are filtering the idea of those needs through their own middle class ideology. For educators who are woke, we know that children who grow up in impoverished, densely populated, concrete neighborhoods, they're enculturated about food under a different set of circumstances than kids in rural or suburban communities. One reason is because us city folks, we use our corner stores sort of as food marts. This causes urban children to develop habits and skills and reactions, or AKA cultures, surrounding concepts of food that don't align with some middle class values about food that their school policymakers and leaders hold. Decisions about what food children should have access to and how kids can access that food tend to be based on what middle class school leaders or the politicians want students to eat, not what they will actually eat. This is where the drowning of horses happens. I noticed that in one suburban school, children get to select their own lunch option in the morning. In my district, breakfast is mostly grab and go, cold, prepackaged cereal, and granola bar type foods that they take and eat in their classrooms. And come to think of it, many schools still have rules about no eating in the classroom. That's a policy that doesn't match the practice. Legislators, both federal and state, began to push rigid regulations that schools could only serve healthy foods. The result was that school meals became tasteless, poorly textured, and unappealing to students. There are also policies that prohibit kids from just taking one thing that they actually want from a food tray. They have to take the whole tray. So there's so much food that ends up in the trash in schools. Kids have to eat what they want to eat. Excuse me, kids have to eat and they want to eat. So they attempt to usurp the system by bringing food or snacks from home. As a result, the practice has been to make rules that restrict when and where kids can eat their own food or snacks. It makes sense because in loco parentis or in place of parents, we want to make sure kids eat their real food first. In practice, though, kids who bring their own food are often prevented from accessing microwaves to heat their food up from home. And I've heard teachers and staff be chastised for allowing kids to heat their food up in their classroom microwave. Going to get water is another concern because some kids use it as an opportunity to roam the halls. So teachers are asked to not let children go get water. There was one year when a teacher was selling bottled water, and the school principal got on the PA system in the middle of the school day and said that if she found out who was selling the illegal water, they would face disciplinary action. Illegal water. Okay. drowning, drowning horses doesn't claim that anyone is trying to hurt children, just that our policies sometimes do. So back to food. If kids won't eat this unappealing, tasteless school food, then we make policies and practices about food or we force them to go without. And some children choose the latter. And if you try to address it, you're going to get wet. Drowning horses.